Anastasia, she has a very happy life. She doesn't remember her past, but she knows there's something there, some sort of connection. Whatever you've been through, if you're running from it, it becomes even bigger and more powerful in your mind. Instead of pretending that it didn't happen or I don't want to talk about it, no, I'm going to talk about it. Because when I deal with it head on, it becomes less powerful, it becomes less scary, and then I control the narrative.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
And that helps her to look towards the future and say, but if it happened before, I can create it again. And that gives her strength and resilience. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy. Partially because of how freaking scary the movie is that we're going to talk about.
Oh my gosh, how is Anastasia rated G? The level of gore and viscera and sinews and body horror.
3/4 of the movie is a very G-rated, lovely little animated musical, and then 1/4 of it is f***ing dark.
Yeah.
How did this get a G rating?
Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Ha-ha. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having
So we're going to be exploring childhood trauma, including yours if you watch this movie as a child. We're doing a psychology of a hero on Anastasia herself and looking at 7 things that this film teaches us about trauma. Psychologically, the film is actually fairly accurate. Historically, not even close.
Not even a little bit. That's okay.
I'll try to contain my rage.
So number 1 is that trauma often involves the loss of feeling safe, but not always.
It plays our lullaby.
You can play it at night before you go to sleep and pretend that it's me singing.
So on the heels of Beauty and the Beast, casting Angela Lansbury is always a good idea.
I mean, before Beauty and the Beast, casting Angela Lansbury was a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I just mean, like, you want...
In an animated movie,
you want
sure.
grandmother maternal energy.
Yeah.
Home with me once upon
And the production design in this film is gorgeous. And I mean, a lot of this is pretty historically accurate, honestly.
together.
Of the look of everything?
Yeah, like I've been in that palace before. I lived in Russia for several years.
I'm just going to say this once. There's what really happened, and there's the movie. And we're going to focus on the movie.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about reality anymore, because Rasputin wasn't like that. St. Petersburg was called Leningrad for the entirety of the runtime of this movie, basically. Anastasia died.
That night, sadly.
That night.
The night of the siege, yeah.
John Cusack does not sound like Chris Pine, even though he does.
But in the movie, Anastasia, she has a very happy life. And a very happy family life, and it's luxurious, but more than that, it's loving. And then that's ripped away from her. Rasputin comes in and does a Maleficent and threatens everybody in the party.
Does a Maleficent.
He does!
What an awkward situation.
There is something for her to lose here. And that's true in the case of a lot of trauma sufferers. There is a past that they wish they could go back to, but they don't know how.
Right.
In the case of others, that was never there. They were born into suffering. They were born into fear. They were born into danger and into abuse. And so there is no comparison baseline. Number 2, trauma is defined by exposure to or experiencing death or threats of physical harm.
That's some big T trauma.
Because unhappiness in our country was fanned into a flame that would soon destroy our lives forever.
I don't remember the historical accuracy of magic gremlins helping the Reds.
It's part Russian history, part Night on Bald Mountain.
Anastasia!
But
Please, hurry! Come this way, out the servants' quarters!
and I know Bartok is there to make it less suspenseful for children.
My music box.
Go! Go!
I love Bartok, but it's a little jarring.
It bumped me every time.
Yeah.
And by bumped me, I mean, like, I'm going along and I'm having an experience here, and then Bartok shows up, it's like, boink. Like, this is a different thing. What's happening?
Oh, sure, blame the bat. What the heck, where is she targets?
That's a sort of a screenwriting term, is it bumped me.
Her home is now being laid waste.
Right.
And the movie, for once, is more discreet in what it chooses not to show, because later it's not.
Yeah.
I feel a sudden onset of clarity, Bartok.
She's being exposed to people are dying, and she is being threatened with death. Her and her grandma, they're on the run. I mean, that is terrifying for anybody, but especially at that age.
Jonathan, do you know what could have helped Anastasia better process her childhood trauma?
A therapist?
Yes! This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to give you helpful, unbiased advice.
And you'll get matched with a therapist, in most cases, in 48 hours or less.
What's more, they're committed to helping you find a therapist who's a good fit for you.
That is more. BetterHelp has a network of over 30,000 therapists with a wide range of expertise.
So you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost if the one you are first matched with is not a good fit.
To get started, click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy and fill out the questionnaire to assess your specific needs.
You can choose a time that's convenient for you for your therapy sessions.
And you can even choose how you would like to do your therapy sessions. A phone call, video chat, messaging, an ancient reliquary filled with the trapped souls of the damned.
They're beta testing that one.
How about some retail therapy in Paris?
I don't think that's really what they do. Also, retail therapy is not real therapy. There, I said it.
Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life.
So if you think that you might benefit from therapy, click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy.
You'll get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if therapy helps you.
Number 3 is that memory loss can be caused by trauma.
I wanted to ask you about this. Let's watch the scene and then I'll poke holes in every story ever told.
Okay.
Keep up with me, darling.
Look how beautiful the snowfall is, though.
It's really, this movie is spectacular looking.
You'll never escape me, child.
Okay. So they get through this really fast so they don't linger on it too much, but she, in about 45 seconds, goes from a man is trying to kill me to I just watched that man drown.
Yep.
Threat of death, actual death. It's a lot.
Anastasia.
That was Reka Moiki. Runs right through the middle of St. Petersburg.
All right.
It's a canal.
I love that I'm getting kind of an impromptu tour.
Of St. Petersburg,
Yeah.
Hold on to my hand.
Leningrad at the time.
Not yet.
Oh, no? Okay.
No, the Soviets hadn't taken over yet.
Okay. Oof. Okay.
Okay, clonk on the head.
Here's the thing.
Does, like, cranial impact cause amnesia like it does in every movie?
Yes, actually. You can have a traumatic brain injury that leads to memory loss. That can be short-term, long-term. It can last. It can come back. Like, there's a lot of neuroscience on it, and it depends on various things, but largely comes down to the strength of the blow. And this is my headcanon for this movie. She doesn't hit her head hard enough. If you watch it, she takes it mostly to the shoulder.
Stop crying. It won't do any good. And anyway, you have a lot of work to do, starting right now.
Maybe you get knocked unconscious and have a little bit of a concussion.
Oh, probably.
I get that it's a G-rated movie. It's also a G-rated movie that shows us tendons and a bunch of other nasty visceral stuff. I am not a neurologist, so that's not my specialty, so I can't speak to... Maybe somebody watching could say, no, absolutely, what we just saw could have led to the memory loss that we see later in the film, because basically she wakes up. She's retained, language, math, reading, writing, her motor skills. She's retained all this, but actual memories are all gone. Maybe somebody who specializes in that can tell me whether or not I'm right. My bias is that that's not what happened, even if that's what the film is trying to sell us. My bias is she wakes up and she's just endured her house being burned down, her family's been murdered, she was separated from her grandma at the train station, she was very nearly killed by a scary man, and then she watched that man drown. My theory is that she goes into repression. She wakes up and the brain says, that's too much. We're going to protect you from that psychologically.
Okay.
And amnesia is the better course than actually living with that. Repression is when your brain does it for you without you choosing. Suppression is you choose to keep things down and bat them away. And I don't think she does that.
No, that's not the vibe I'm getting from the rest of the movie.
So my theory is that the trauma itself leads to the memory loss in this case.
I always thought that amnesia was just a crutch of bad screenwriting. It's like poor man's time travel.
Yeah. It is. Number 4. Holding to the good things can increase resilience. This is later on in the story. She doesn't have her memory, but she has been living as an orphan for some time.
Yeah.
And doesn't have the strong family connection. She's living in poverty. There's a lot of hardship in her life.
This place.
from a dream.
She has also picked up a cute animated sidekick.
You love those.
I love one of them per movie.
Painted wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December. Someone holds me safe.
One of the many strengths of the movie, every song is fantastic.
They are really good songs, yeah.
This one in particular is so full of longing and pain, but it's also beautiful and haunting.
Yeah.
The orchestration really sells it, the animation really sells it.
And Meg Ryan not singing it really helps.
She's
It's
not her singing voice.
Not her. I don't know who the singing voice is.
I think the only person who sings for themselves in this movie is Kelsey Grammer, which makes sense because
tracks, yeah, he's got pipes.
if it is Meg Ryan, and Meg Ryan watches the show,
I'm so
apologize.
sorry.
Yeah,
It's not. Who?
Liz Calloway. It's Liz Calloway.
It's Liz Calloway.
Someone holds me safe and warm.
I love how they come out of the painting,
Yeah.
like come to life. That is so cool.
Figures dancing gracefully across my
We find out these are her sisters, which they do look a lot like her.
far away, long ago, glowing dim as an ember. Things my heart used to know, things it yearns to remember. And a song someone
So the lyrics, she's talking about the things she yearns to remember, being in this place. She's getting flashes, right, of people, but more especially of emotions that this place brings up. And she knows there's something about this palace that is special to her. She just doesn't know what it is. And psychologically, when you're dealing with amnesia,
What are you doing in here?
I'm Chris Pine.
he's not Chris Pine, but he sounds exactly like Chris Pine.
Was like 11 years old or something when that was made.
What's curious is she's been through a trauma, and so she could just as easily have traumatic flashbacks.
Sure.
Right? These are repressed memories, after all, at least, because this location holds both happy and joyful and safe, warm, loving memories, as well as traumatic, terrifying memories of loss and sadness and grief. And in this moment, it's these warm memories that are flooding back. And it's triggering this sense of longing and this sense of belonging, more especially. She doesn't remember her past, but she knows there's something there, some sort of connection. And that helps her to look towards the future and say, I was loved once. I belonged once. I was safe once. I know it in my bones, even though I can't remember the specifics.
Yeah.
But if it happened before, I can create it again. And that gives her strength and resilience to face, you know, all the crap she's going through.
And I love that her path back to like remembering all this stuff is music. It's the song that she and her grandmother used to sing. She's reprising it here. And I love that they're doing this. And this is sort of metaphorical, right? Because she doesn't actually remember the song in the story at this point. This is sort of in her imagination. This is what the song means, even though she hasn't.
The emotion of the song.
She hasn't had that trigger yet.
Yeah, I could see it two ways. Like artistically, the emotion of the song is why it's the same melody, right?
Okay.
It's the same feeling, or it's just coming from her, but she doesn't remember this is specifically from a music box, right?
Oh yeah, it could be that.
So when she hears the music box, it's like 2 and 2 together. This song's always been in me. What do you think? What do you think's going on with her right now? Let us know below. Number 5, keeping your integrity helps you to heal.
She is the Empress ravishing first cousin.
But I thought we were going to see the Empress herself. Why are we going to see her cousin? Dimitri?
Well, nobody gets near the Dowager Empress without convincing Sophie first.
Oh, no. Not me. No. No, nobody ever told me I had to prove I was the Grand Duchess.
Look,
Show up, yes. Look nice, fine, but lie?
You don't know it's a lie. What if it's true? Okay, so there's one
Pine.
more stop on the road to finding out who you are.
It's John Cusack
I just
as
thought
Chris
this
Pine.
was something you had to see through to the end, no matter
But
what.
look at me, Dimitri. I am not exactly Grand Duchess material here.
The thing I want to highlight here artistically is that Kelsey Grammer has the warmest, most inviting voice. Except when he's Sideshow Bob. But just...
even then.
The following neighborhood residents will not be killed by me. Ned Flanders, Maud Flanders.
Oh, isn't that nice?
The second point that I want to make is that psychologically holding to your integrity can help you to heal. Anya refuses to lie. She refuses to be deceptive. And this is why I think she is a legitimate hero, you know, for the psychology of a hero, is because there are so many people who fall into what is called the I deserve trap. In the book Anatomy of Peace, they talk about people who say, well, I've been wronged, I've been hurt, the world's been cruel to me, so I deserve this. And they justify being dishonest, they justify hurting other people to get theirs, to get what is owed to them. And the thing about negative coping skills is even though they help us in the short term, they're still negative. They still hurt us. There is no peace without peace of conscience. And Anastasia has ratty clothes, doesn't have money, doesn't have a lot to eat, doesn't have family, but what she does have is her strength of character. And I think that's why for a lot of the runtime, she's a pretty peppy, happy person because she has that inner peace of being a person of integrity.
I want to have a conversation with you guys. There's something about the animation style of this movie. Not the backgrounds are beautiful. Not the character designs are great. The actual specific animation, like how they move from frame to frame, is weirdly off-putting to me, and I can't put my finger on it.
You could take any still frame from this movie and it's gorgeous.
Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. And some scenes, the animation doesn't bother me at all. In this one in particular, there's a bunch of stuff where Dimitri is just like kind of hopping across the screen a lot.
It looks unnatural.
It looks unnatural because I think it looks too natural. Like it's on twos, but it looks rotoscoped, but not well. I'm not sure what's going on. It bumped me. If any of you are professional animators and you know either what's wrong with this or what's wrong with me, please tell me in the comments below.
Number 6, confronting trauma is essential for healing trauma.
Long live the Romanovs!
Christopher Lloyd, come on. So great.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
The question I have is, how am I going to confront this trauma that I've experienced?
Of Rasputin?
Of Rasputin and his horrifyingness.
He is a very scary villain. And they try and lighten it with some humor.
Yeah, they try and make it not as scary by having Bartok there, and it kind of makes it worse.
This is for Dimitri.
Give it back!
This is for my family.
I'll tear you to pieces!
And this is for you. Das Vidanya.
Okay.
Great effects animation, love it.
And now he's gonna die a very Indiana Jones death.
Yeah.
Except for Indiana Jones never did it.
Not
Indiana Jones
this-
had melting faces and exploding heads, and this is still.
This is so gross. I mean, I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
The skeleton like and dissolving into dust. This is my favorite on-screen death I've ever seen in an animated film, and it's maybe top 5 all time.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. But who the put that in a kids movie? What happened to you, Don Bluth?
We grew up in the 80s. It was the time, like Return to Oz was made in the 80s, right? So like, we understand scary family movies.
Sure.
What I don't understand is the MPAA couldn't even give this a PG. Not even like a heads up.
Yeah, no, they were just like, hey, everybody, it's fine. Take your kids.
This is rated G.
I developed it myself. You know, for kids.
Maybe the 80s were right all along, because we grew up okay.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Okay, but on a trauma recovery level, this is her literally face-to-face with her attacker. Up until now, she's been a victim, lady in distress. Even in this scene, she's a damsel in distress, clinging up to the bridge for dear life. Dimitri comes and saves her, and it's all like, okay, that's fine. The moment she storms in there, and I love the very practical touch of she has to hold her dress up to run at him and tackle him, right? While she's wearing heels.
It's really fun.
But the fact that she's the one who puts him away, right? And she's the one who, and she does it in her heels, by stomping on this, is really, really cool. And the fact is, whatever you've been through, if you're running from it, you're giving it power. You run from something, you hide from something, you refuse to face it, it becomes even bigger and more powerful in your mind. Now, there's another extreme, which is, I'm just going to jump right in there and try and deal with it without knowing what the hell I'm doing.
Also not good.
Yeah, and this is why, especially in cases of trauma, like, this is my bias because I'm a therapist. There are a lot of things in life that you can navigate with a therapist personally, like that personal touch is very valuable. For some people, it's like, no, I'll just read a book about it, or I'll listen to this podcast, or I'll watch YouTube channels, and I'm getting the information that's helping me to make a difference. And I think that's great. I personally believe in cases of trauma, especially in today's world when we have the resource.
Yes.
Pairing with a trauma-trained and experienced counselor is huge, especially for giving, okay, you're going to have to face this head on. Here's how.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Oh, well, it's still good advertising.
Clearly, this is a metaphorical representation, but what does that look like in real life? Confronting your trauma.
In some cases, it looks like talking to the person or people.
Okay.
In other cases, I've had times where that's not safe, or they're just like, I don't want to. I don't ever want to actually encounter that person again. I'm like, let's still have the cathartic experience of what would you say? And sometimes I role play.
Do a little bit of role play.
Yeah, and sometimes they say it to me. Sometimes I have them journal it. But my experience is generally things have to be expressed, to be processed. They have to be released. And some people burn an effigy, but they all look like, instead of pretending that it didn't happen or I don't want to talk about it, no, I'm going to talk about it. Because when I talk about it or when I deal with it head on, it becomes less powerful, it becomes less scary, and then I control the narrative instead of running from it. Number 7, building a life beyond trauma is something to strive for. So she could have the crown, but...
Dear Grandmama, wish me luck. We'll
Historically,
be
the crown
in
is
Paris
meaningless.
Soon. A bientôt.
Thank you.
Sorry. What does being the Princess of Russia mean when it's controlled by the Soviets?
And when you live in France?
Ending. No, it's a perfect beginning.
It's a happy ending. No, it's a perfect beginning. So Grandma says you can take the crown, or you can choose to be with Dmitri, or really choose whatever you want. Again, this is not what happened.
Nope.
But it works for the movie.
It's delightful.
And man, Paris looks great in this movie.
Paris looks great in this movie. Dmitri looks great in this movie.
Oh, wow.
I'd hit that.
Oh my gosh. Which one are you talking about?
Both.
Oh my gosh. So I think of, in my work with trauma sufferers, you have a journey. And for a lot of people, the journey, what they have in mind, and I thought this way for a long time, is I'm a victim, and if I can make it to survivor or even advocate, then that's positive change, that's growth, that's me taking control of my narrative. And what I had been ignorant of for a long time is there's one more step, which is I'm a victim, now I'm a survivor, now I'm an advocate, now I'm me.
Yeah.
That my life, I can reclaim a life for myself. And in fact, that is the ultimate sign of power and victory over the people who hurt you.
Is to essentially process it, deal with everything you need to deal with, and then move on from it completely and just have your own life.
Well, I don't know, you move on from it completely because it's always part of your history.
Sure.
It no longer defines you, because when I say I'm a survivor or I'm an advocate, I'm still taking an identity defined by trauma.
Yes.
Whereas if I say I'm a survivor and an advocate, and I'm also, this is what I do for a profession, or this is what I study, or these are the relationships that I treasure, or here's what I'm doing with my life, right? That is empowering. And that's what she's doing here. And it's not just empowering, it's healing. She is saying, yes, I survived a trauma, but she moved from victim to survivor and all the way to I'm choosing a life for myself, and that is the journey. If you have experienced a childhood trauma, like Anastasia, what I want to say to you is this happens in an hour and a half in a fantastical film that's not based in reality.
Right.
The actual process, even though the things that we learn from it are, like the principles are correct, what it actually looks like takes a lot longer. And there's a lot more 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yes.
If you need support, get support. There is nothing shameful about that. In fact, it is showing courage and love for yourself to get that support to reclaim your life, however long it takes.
And showing courage and love for others. If you trust someone to support you, that's a wonderful feeling to be that support. I'm sure many of you have been that support person for someone else. Let someone else, feel the love too.
So until next time,
Grandmama, it's me, Anastasia.
I'd give her a ha, and I'd give her a hi-ya, and then I'd kick her, sir. And watch movies. Hey there, ho there. We want to thank our patrons for getting director's cuts and bonus content. And this is half bar talk and half strange brew, but I'm running with it. Don't you know?
Okay, patrons like
Fenrir Togami,
Michelle Soldan,
Amanda Hardman,
Bippity Boppity.
Here comes the Zoppity. And
you can't even say it. L Ghost.
We just want to thank you. You're the best.